Once he had the strength and influence of this common people's regal, he would have a high chance of defeating their chaos divine demon Di Huang in the future. Yin could not help but grit his teeth thinking of Di Huang. He was almost invincible in the divine demon realm. The only person who had never won was Di Huang, that I will definitely avenge my previous humiliation. He gritted his teeth and thought. Zhou Zhou looked at the situation on the battlefield and frowned slightly. This was because even though his soldiers were already fighting with all their might, with the other party's military advantage, they were still inevitably on the verge of defeat. This group of replica soldiers not only had all the strength, equipment, and skills of the soldiers under him, but they also had their temperament, courage, and ferocity. That's my soldier. Zhou Zhou sighed inwardly at this moment. Zhou Zhou and Yin sensed something almost at the same time and looked into the distance. A few seconds later, 5 streams of light flew over from the depths of the sea of stars. They broke through the barrier of the boundless universe and forcefully entered this battlefield. They were the War Master God, Terence, the Machina Master God, Zero, the Goddess of Life, Trides, the Wisdom Master God, Topbirth, and the Light Master God, Hello, Common. People's Regal, we're here to help. Terence laughed. Everyone, this emperor has been waiting for a long time. Zhou Zhou heaved a sigh of relief and stood up with a smile. Yin frowned slightly when she saw this. He wanted to replicate the 4 of them, but he realized that he couldn't. Then, he reacted. Strictly speaking, these 5 top Master God tier experts did not completely belong to Zhou Zhou yet. This was because they would only completely join Zhou Zhou after he established the Divine Kingdom's Lord faction and become his worshipped Master God. However, they were not yet. Therefore, Yin naturally could not replicate it. However, he soon relaxed his brows and sneered at Zhou Zhou. Is this your trump card? Don't tell me you think that just by adding 5 top-notch Master Gods on your side, you can decide the outcome of the entire battlefield. We don't understand each other. Can the current us easily kill these so-called 10 Master Gods, even if we casually send out a clone? Not to mention, you still have 2 clones on the Cerulean planet, and my clones are still at the scene. Even if your clone, and these 5 clones attack together, you won't be our match. Yin said this fact without any hesitation. Hearing this, Zhou Zhou's expression turned unnatural. Even though that was the truth, there was no need for this guy to say it. He was indeed an arrogant and despotic person, and he glanced at Terence and the others from the corner of his eye after they heard Yin's words. Terence looked at Zhou Zhou with interest, and a fighting spirit appeared in his eyes. Zero's expression did not change at all, but his silver mechanical divine eyes were filled with a large amount of information data. Trides looked at Zhou Zhou in surprise. Clearly, she did not expect Zhou Zhou's combat strength to be so high that he had surpassed them so quickly. Topbirth also looked at Zhou Zhou in surprise. Hello was the same. Hey, chaotic divine demons below, when did we say that we would do it ourselves? Terence looked at Yin and smiled. Then why are you here? To watch the battle? Then, after the war ends, you'll welcome your new master? Yin frowned. As soon as these words were spoken, the 5 Master Gods finally frowned in unison. New master. These words were a little unpleasant. Terence sneered and said, there's no need to use that method for the time being. Let me experience your brilliant move first. In the next second, he drove the yellow gold tier carriage and transformed into a golden light that rushed towards Yin. You're courting death. Yin stood rooted to the ground. A Yin clone appeared in front of him and punched Terence without any fancy moves. An incomparably terrifying power instantly rushed towards Terence's golden carriage. The yellow gold divine horse at the front did not even have time to react before it was shattered into powder and disappeared. Then, the carriage was shattered, leaving Terence alone. Facing this simple punch, Terence felt an unprecedented sense of horror. However, not only was he not afraid, he even felt the madness in his bones. Okay. How long has it been since I experienced it? Heroes of all worlds, listen to my orders. Terence roared at the sky. In the next second, countless phantoms of yellow gold soldiers appeared in front of him. These soldiers had different forms and were shockingly from various races in the myriad worlds. There were at least 10 capital units in total. Their strength was high and low. The weakest yellow gold soldiers were only at the green bronze tier elementary grade, and the strongest yellow gold soldiers were shockingly as strong as a master god tier advanced grade. At this moment, under the call of the war master god, Terrence, they roared and charged towards this punch. However, something shocking happened to Terrence and the other master gods. Under the punch of Yin's clone, the 10 capital unit soldiers were actually unable to block it at all. Even the yellow golden soldiers at master god tier advanced grade had their divine bodies blasted apart by a single punch. This punch pierced through the yellow gold soldiers and was about to land on Terrence. When Terrence saw this, he finally felt fear. He had previously heard from Yin that the current Zhou Zhou could easily sweep through the 10 master gods. He did not believe it and even had the thought of sparring. Now, this clone had woken him and the other 4 master gods up with a punch. How could this be something that could sweep through the 10 master gods? This was simply the number 1 god spirit below the supreme god realm. Was this still the common people's regal that needed their help? However, at the same time, he was pleasantly surprised. He made the right choice. When the common people's regal establishes his divine kingdom and becomes stronger and even the lord of all races in the future, with this unprecedented strength and methods, he would definitely have a way to let them advance to the supreme god realm in the future. At this critical moment of life and death, Terrence, who had a big heart, actually had the mood to think about this. Just as this punch was about to land on him, a figure appeared in front of Terrence. He raised his hand and received the menacing punch with a solemn expression. Daiti was Zhou Zhou's 7th clone. Sunday, he shook his sore right hand following that. So strong. He muttered to himself, the terrifying power of the power heavenly emperor could almost be said to have been completely developed under the activation of the chaos sacred power of the master god tier advanced grade. This punch really had the might of a heavenly emperor. If not for the fact that he was Zhou Zhou's clone and also had the power of the power heavenly emperor, he might not have been able to withstand this punch. Your Excellency Terrence, stop playing and use your true methods. Zhou Zhou said, okay. Terrence nodded and had no intention of slacking off. Then, he looked at Yin and revealed a sinister smile. I'll let you see our true methods. Yin looked at the sinister smile on Terrence's face and the calmness and confidence on the faces of the other 4 top master god tiers. He frowned slightly and finally realized that something was wrong. They wouldn't have been so calm until now if they didn't really have the confidence and means to deal with him. Especially after witnessing his strength and heritage, his expression turned solemn at this moment. He suddenly saw something, and his expression finally changed. War Master God Terrence flipped his right hand, and a scroll emitting golden light appeared in his hand. Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Treasure Heavenly Dipper Divine Scroll. Once the vast and majestic power of the Heavenly Dipper Law was released, it was enough to instantly destroy hundreds of thousands of universes. At the same time, the Machina Master God, Zero, also took out a purple Rubik's Cube. It was the Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Treasure 6 Realms Rubik's Cube. The Wisdom Master God, Trides, took out a withered tree root. It was the Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Treasure World Root of Corrosion. The Wisdom Master God, Top Birth, took out a ball of chaotic silver light. It was the Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Treasure. Heart of Reversal. Master God Tier Halu took out a sacred white divine crystals. It was the Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Treasure. Ultimate Origin Light. The boundless universe created by Yin instantly became turbulent, as if it was about to collapse and be destroyed in the next second as soon as these 5 Supreme God Realm treasures were taken out. When Yin saw this scene, his expression gradually turned ugly. He sensed his first treasure vault and searched inside and out before finally confirming something. He did not even have a single Supreme God Realm treasure on him. Supreme God Realm treasures? Why? Do you have them? Yin roared. The inexplicable disappearance of the Supreme God Realm treasure finally made him. The chaotic divine demons who had always felt that everything was under control feel uneasy and flustered. He hated such emotions, Of course, I was the one who gave them all as gifts to the master gods. They are this emperor's future worshipped master gods after all. Is there anything wrong with me giving them small treasures in advance to increase our friendship? Zhou Zhou smiled faintly. Those are 137 supreme god realm treasures. You spent more than half of your wealth to buy them, but you actually gave them all to them. Yin roared in disbelief. You call these small treasures? Don't they cost hundreds of minions at least? What else can I do? Keep it for you to use against me. Zhou Zhou waved his hand nonchalantly. Why would he strengthen the other party since he knew that the other party would replicate all his methods? Naturally, he would think of weakening the other party to help him, and he felt that the best way to weaken the other party's help was to give away all 137 Supreme God Realm treasures that were on him. This was because those Supreme God Realm treasures were the strongest methods he had. Even if he used all his trump cards, he would not be able to withstand a single blow from the power of these Supreme God Realm treasures. Similarly, he would also be vulnerable in front of these Supreme God Realm treasures. It was a principle that one couldn't trap a wolf if one couldn't bear to part with a child. Zhou Zhou simply gave away all the Supreme God Realm treasures, not going to give the clone any chance to turn the tables. Therefore, after he created his seventh clone, he immediately got him to look for the 5 master gods and gave them all 137 Supreme God Realm treasures. He did not even make any requests, only said that it was free. He even specially signed a contract. However, these 5 top-notch master gods were not fools. They naturally understood that there was no such thing as free lunch in this world, not to mention so many Supreme God Realm treasures. Hence, they all understood that Zhou Zhou probably had a request, and it was an urgent one. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given them so much in one go. Therefore, not long after they left on Sunday, they decided to join forces and make a trip to the Blazing Sun Empire. They decided to protect the Blazing Sun Empire for a period of time. Then, they saw the scene of Yin's chaotic divine demons summoning the clone army to attack the Blazing Sun Empire's army. Then, they saw the scene of Yin's chaotic divine demons summoning the clone army to attack the Blazing Sun Empire's army. Of course, during this process, they inevitably had the thought of embezzling these Supreme God Realm treasures. These were all genuine Supreme God Realm treasures after all. It was no exaggeration to say that they had been the top 10 master gods for so many years, and the Supreme God Realm treasures they had combined were not as much as what Sunday had given them. This time, if they really owned them, their strength and power would definitely increase greatly. However, they gave up on the idea after much consideration. Why? This was because there were very few existences in the entire myriad worlds that could threaten them as 10 master god-tier existences. When the Supreme God Realm and even more powerful beings did not appear, they were the strongest in the heavens. In addition, even though they had few Supreme God Realm treasures, they were not lacking in them. This made their need to obtain more Supreme God Realm treasures less urgent. Most importantly, they knew what they wanted. What they wanted was to become a Supreme God Realm expert, not to obtain so-called Supreme God Realm treasures. In their eyes, the common people's regal was undoubtedly the best candidate to help them attain the Supreme God Realm. The so-called temptation of Supreme God Realm treasures was not worth mentioning in the face of the temptation of becoming a Supreme God Realm. Therefore, they chose to take the initiative to help Zhou Zhou. I see. Yin finally understood that. No wonder Zhou Zhou had been so fearless ever since the war began. It turned out that he had already calculated everything and made this huge bet. 5. The current situation undoubtedly proved that he had won the bet. Yin would lose, and he would lose completely. Even though he had grasped all of Zhou Zhou's means, he was still so vulnerable in front of Supreme God Realm treasures. Even if Zhou Zhou could rely on King to have the combat strength of the number 1 God Spirit below the Supreme God Realm, he only had the combat strength of the number 1 God Spirit below the Supreme God Realm. His true strength was only at the true God tier intermediate grade. He was unable to deal with the Supreme God Realm. Naturally, Yin could not either. However, His expression turned ferocious. I won't let you have it easy even if I lose either. All troops, charge. You have to tear a piece of flesh off the regal's body, even if you perish, he said angrily. Zhou Zhou frowned slightly. This guy wanted to use the method of sacrificing 1,000 of his own team to kill 800 on his side. Then, his brows relaxed. Forget it. What was the big deal of sacrificing some supreme god? Realm treasures as long as he could obtain victory and establish a divine kingdom? It was worth it even if it was all used up in any case. He was now the master of the core branch of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce's headquarters that in the future, he would not be lacking in supreme god realm treasures. Do it, your excellencies. The current him wouldn't be afraid of any enemy. Terence and the other master gods nodded. Then, they activated the supreme god realm treasures in their hands and targeted Yin. They knew that as long as they destroyed Yin, his clone army would naturally disappear. Countless heavenly dipper divine powers, realm divine powers, corrosive powers, reversal powers, and light powers that emitted various colors descended from the sky and shot straight at Yin. Yin pressed his palms together, being illusory in one thought and being real in another thought. In the next second, the figures of him and his army actually turned from real to illusory. The 5 supreme god realm treasures actually didn't seem to injure the other party at all. They directly pierced through the other party's divine body and the bodies of the clone army under him. Zhou Zhou and the others were shocked to discover that Yin and his clone army were actually unharmed after the aftershock of the 5 supreme god realm treasures dissipated. No, not completely unscathed. Zhou Zhou's eyesight was astonishing. He could see that more than half of the chaotic sacred power in Yin's body had been consumed by that move. What a heaven-defying talent. However, how many times can you block it? Terence sneered. Then, he took out another supreme god realm treasure with the other topmaster gods that Yin's pupils were constricted. Then, he turned around and fled without hesitation in the direction of Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou shook his head. You and I have the same methods. So you should know. One definitely won't be able to catch up to you. So it's the same. You definitely won't be able to catch up to me. He had a thought. Master God Tier Advanced Grade Spacetime Law Skill Spacetime Maze. In the next second, countless layers of spatial passageways vaguely appeared. Yin could not dodge in time and flew into it. Then, he was obstructed by countless spacetime corridors and could not get close to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou stood on the spot and did not even move. He looked at Yin calmly and sighed in his heart. The Time Divine Dragon's space-time corridor law skill was indeed useful to that moment. Yin had also realized that he would definitely not be able to approach Zhou Zhou due to the existence of the space-time corridor that was already too late for him to escape. Another 5 supreme god realm treasures descended from the sky, targeting Yin gritted his teeth and pressed his palms together again, being illusory in one thought and being real in another thought. In the next second, his divine body and the bodies of his army of clones became illusory again. However, this time, when the 5 divine lights attacked Yin's divine body, Yin let out an incomparably miserable scream not long after. Common people's regal. We'll meet again. When the time comes, I will definitely. Yin did not finish his sentence because he was already dead at the same time that he died. Lines of text notifications appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Congratulations, Lord of the Blazing Sun, for successfully winning the Kingdom Founding War. You are now qualified to officially upgrade your territory Blazing Sun Empire, Advanced, to a Divine Kingdom Lord faction, Beginner. Do you wish to upgrade immediately? Yes, Zhou Zhou said without hesitation. Then, a smile appeared on his face. He had worked hard for so long and finally had the top Lord faction in the myriad worlds to in the next second. A pillar of light descended from the sky, illuminating the territory of the Blazing Sun Empire. All the Blazing Sun Empire subjects in the Blazing Sun Empire's territory seemed to see a supreme realm. When they looked up, in that mystic realm, laws appeared casually like rain. Every drop of rain represented a complete path of laws. They could see endless profundity in a random raindrop. someone's strength had broken through at this moment. At this moment, someone's comprehension seemed to have improved. Someone had comprehended a new skill or even a new law skill at this moment. Some people had obtained a supreme foundation at this moment. As long as they accumulated enough strength, they would be able to soar into the sky. Zhou Zhou naturally saw this scene as well that a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Isn't this the supreme domain of the supreme will? There's such a benefit in advancing to the divine kingdom. Why aren't there any records in my bloodline inheritance memories? However, he quickly reacted. When the lords of other races advanced to the divine kingdom, they would not encounter difficult enemies like the illusory god of chaos. This scene was probably specially rewarded by the supreme will to himself and the subjects in order to reward his outstanding performance. He glanced at Terence and company. The moment the supreme domain appeared, they sat down cross-legged and began to comprehend the supreme laws contained in the supreme domain. Zhou Zhou smiled and did not begin to meditate like them. It was just a supreme domain. The actual location of his divine kingdom world was actually in the supreme domain. It was constantly nourished by the nomological reign of the supreme domain as the master of the divine kingdom, even though he could not appear directly in the supreme domain. Through his divine kingdom world, it was equivalent to being affected by the aura of the supreme domain at all times. Therefore, this scene was a rare opportunity for Terence and the others. However, it was just a normal day to Zhou Zhou at the same time, just as the Blazing Sun Empire was advancing to the divine kingdom. This shocking phenomenon of advancing to the divine kingdom instantly attracted the attention of all the races and factions. When they discovered that the source of this phenomenon was actually the advancement of the Blazing Sun Empire's divine kingdom phenomenon, they were immediately shocked. Ah, he advanced to a divine kingdom just like that? How long has it been since the common people's regal arrived in the high continent? And he already has a divine kingdom lord faction. What would those lord factions that spent tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years to build a divine kingdom think? This common people's regal is indeed worthy of being called the leader and starter of the new era of the myriad races. He's indeed extraordinary to be able to do such a shocking feat. Amazing. Truly amazing. Those powerful bloodline races have always been wary of Zhou Zhou. Now that the common people's regal has suddenly become the ruler of the divine kingdom, I'm afraid they won't be able to eat or sleep in peace. No wonder the common people's regal didn't participate in the Lord of the Races event this time. It turns out that he is doing his best to prepare for the advancement to the divine kingdom. No wonder. This is a Lord's faction that was able to establish the divine kingdom first during the Lord of all races contest. It will definitely be able to make a name for itself in front of the Supreme Yu. Compared to this, it doesn't matter if it participates in the Lord of the Race event or not. The phenomenon of the common people's regal advancing to a divine kingdom lord is really magnificent. It can actually attract the supreme domain. I see that many master god tiers advancing to the supreme god realm failed to attract the supreme will's attention. The supreme Yu really values this kid. The various races and factions from the myriad worlds were discussing the matter of common people's regal becoming the lord of a divine kingdom. The matter caused huge waves and turmoil among the 10,000 races. Unsurprisingly, Zhou Zhou finally received the notification that he had dreamed of after waiting for a long time. Congratulations! Your high-level lord's territory Blazing Sun Empire has officially been promoted to beginner-level Divine Kingdom Lordess territory. Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Prompt. You can display the name and level of your divine kingdom on any channel. Your world channel ID has changed. Your current world channel ID is Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, Beginner, Lord of the Blazing Sun. Right on the heels of that, an announcement that shocked the hearts of the 10,000 races appeared. Announcement of the Lord of 10,000 races. Congratulations to the human race, Lord of the Blazing Sun, for successfully establishing the first kingdom of the Lord of 10,000 races. Rewards: 10,000 races mythology treasure box +1, novice kingdom of God treasure box +1, legend degree +1 Nalion, mythical reputation rating +1000. The only title of the 10,000 races, the first kingdom of God. Lord of all races announcement. Congratulations to the human race Lord of the blazing sun. Lord of all races announcement. Congratulations to the human race, Lord of the blazing sun. Finally, it has officially advanced to a divine kingdom lord faction. Zhou Zhou sighed. He was now considered the leader of the top factions in the world. Then, he looked at the subsequent text notifications. Elementary level divine lord hint 1. After advancing to a divine kingdom, your reputation will spread throughout the myriad worlds. More life forms in the myriad worlds will gradually know of the existence of your divine kingdom and will come to join your divine kingdom faction. Please be prepared to deal with the various divine kingdom matters. Elementary level divine lord. Hint 2. Your advanced empire channel has officially been upgraded to elementary divine kingdom channel. It can accommodate up to 10,000 Guy unit subjects. Elementary level divine master. Hint 3. You have the authority to release the divine kingdom announcement. After releasing the divine kingdom announcement, all subjects of the divine kingdom will be the first to know of the news you released. Elementary level divine master. Hint 4. Your subsidiary kingdom function has been strengthened. You can recruit kingdom factions without limit. You can also recruit up to 100,000 Empire Tier Lord factions and 1,000 beginner level divine kingdom lord factions to become your subsidiary kingdom. Subsidiary kingdoms are not allowed to attack the suzerain kingdom. They have to accept the orders of the suzerain kingdom and advance and retreat with the suzerain kingdom. The suzerain kingdom has to support the development of the subsidiary kingdoms within its ability to protect the subsidiary kingdoms from external enemies. There is a parent-child spatial teleportation array between the main kingdom and the affiliated kingdom. It can be used for free regardless of distance. The main kingdom has the right to unilaterally close the parent-child spatial teleportation array. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading it. Then, he opened the divine kingdom announcement and wrote down the first divine kingdom announcement after the establishment of the divine kingdom. Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom Announcement. Everyone, this emperor's subjects. This emperor can officially tell you that the kingdom founding war has completely ended. Our empire's army has undoubtedly obtained victory in this war again. No, it shouldn't be the empire's army. That was because after we won this kingdom founding war, our Blazing Sun Empire has officially advanced to a beginner-level divine kingdom lord faction, which means our Blazing Sun Empire has officially become the Blazing Sun Empire from today onwards. Everyone, from now on, you have already become official citizens of the divine kingdom. Just like before, we are undoubtedly at the forefront of all the lords of all races. This is also the collective honor of all the citizens of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. In order to celebrate our official advancement to the Lord faction of the beginner-level Divine Kingdom, from today onwards, in a month, the prices of all items in the territory contribution system will be discounted. In a month, the price will return to normal. I hope that all subjects will seize the opportunity to increase their strength and better survive on the high continent. The citizens of the Blazing Sun Empire were originally worried about how the kingdom founding war between the soldiers of the empire was going. At the beginning of the war, Zhou Zhou and Yinyan's army had entered the boundless universe to fight in order not to destroy the subjects of the Blazing Sun Empire after all. The living beings from the outside world could not spy on the situation inside. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, they had already won the war. Not only had their country advanced to a divine kingdom lord faction, ordinary subjects like them had also advanced to divine kingdom subjects. That was the subject of a divine kingdom faction. If word got out, everyone would look up to her. This was because the subjects of the divine kingdom's lord faction represented that the strongest lord faction in the heavens was protecting you. If they encountered a living being with ill intentions and heard this identity, they would have to consider if they should take the risk to provoke this huge creature. It was not like ordinary kingdom subjects or empire subjects. It was fine if they were provoked. The myriad worlds were so big. Could you find me if I casually hid to a divine kingdom lord faction? It was really not that difficult to find a criminal who had violated the interests or safety of their citizens in the myriad worlds. The reputation and strength of a divine kingdom lord faction were obvious after all. The moment it spoke, all the factions in the myriad worlds would stick their faces close to it, wanting to help build a relationship. Once the factions in the myriad worlds moved, most life forms would not be able to escape. If becoming a subject of a divine kingdom lord faction made them feel honor and pride, then what His Majesty said about being able to exchange for all the items in the territory contribution system at a 10% discount had benefited them. In fact, the Blazing Sun Empire had held such a thing once when it was promoted to a kingdom and an empire, but the discount was only 30%. This time, he exchanged for it at a 10% discount. This was really a cheap price. All the subjects were overjoyed, excited, and cheering. When Zhou Zhou opened the Beginner Divine Kingdom channel, he saw this scene. Your Majesty's lifespan is limitless. From a small city to a kingdom, from a kingdom to an empire to the current divine kingdom. His Majesty's rise can be said to be a miracle. I'm proud that I'm a citizen of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Ha ha ha. I'm also a member of the Divine Kingdom from today onwards. Now that I'm outside, everyone will think highly of me. In such a short period of time, His Majesty has already become the ruler of the Divine Kingdom. I wonder what the limit of His Majesty's future is. Limit? Limit my *SS. Our Majesty's main goal is to surpass any limits. When we were still in the Blazing Sun Empire, those myriad races had always schemed to destroy us. Now that we're already a Divine Kingdom faction, we must take revenge in the future. Don't worry, who doesn't know His Majesty's temper? They won't have a good ending. Zhou Zhou chuckled as he watched the subjects chat. Then, he looked at the upper limit of 10,000 Guy units and was even more satisfied. 10,000 Guy units, which is 100 million capital units. For the time being, we don't have to worry about the subjects not being able to enter the channel. Then, he opened the channel of the Lords of the Myriad Races and took a look at as expected. They were also discussing their advancement to a Divine Kingdom Lord faction. Zhou Zhou watched as they discussed him. He was secretly pleased, but he did not say anything. After seeing that he was satisfied, he closed the channel of the Lords of the Myriad Races. At this moment, 5 streams of light descended from the sky and arrived in front of him. They half knelt and respectfully said, "War Master God Terrence greets Your Majesty. Congratulations on becoming the leader of the Divine Kingdom faction. Goddess of Life, Trides greets Your Majesty. Congratulations on becoming the ruler of the Divine Kingdom. Wisdom Master God Top Birth greets Your Majesty. Congratulations on becoming the leader of the Divine Kingdom. Greetings, Your Majesty. Congratulations on becoming the leader of the Divine Kingdom. Light Master God Halu greets Your Majesty. Congratulations on becoming the leader of the Divine Kingdom faction." The smile on Zhou Zhou's face became even more obvious as he looked at the 5 top-notch Master God tiers who were completely loyal to him and attached to him. Everyone, please rise. The Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom has just been established, and you 5 top Master God tiers have joined. This proves that our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom is on the verge of prosperity. Zhou Zhou said with a smile. Terrence and the others immediately said that they did not dare. If it were before, they would still be confident that they could continue after Zhou Zhou said such words. However, after the battle with Yin just now, the 5 top Master Gods had completely understood their position in the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. They might be considered top Master Gods among the other Master Gods. However, in front of this King of the Divine Kingdom, they were just like younger brothers. They were not as important as they had imagined in the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Zhou Zhou said politely before saying, "Today is the first day of this Emperor's Divine Kingdom's construction. So this Emperor plans to hold a Divine Kingdom banquet tonight to celebrate the first construction of the Divine Kingdom. When the time comes, everyone must come and participate. Of course, we'll definitely participate. We'll be there." Terrence and the other Master Gods immediately promised. Zhou Zhou nodded and led the soldiers back to the Shenyang Divine Capital. Zhou Zhou couldn't wait to return to the world of gods and come to the Divine Kingdom Jade Tablet after making some simple arrangements. A resplendent white jade tablet stood in the world of gods. The sky of the world of gods above its head sat on the ground of the world of gods. It was like a Buzhou mountain that supported this world of gods. Is this my Divine Kingdom Jade Tablet? Not bad, not bad. Zhou Zhou looked at the sky-penetrating divine monument and nodded in satisfaction. He had seen many divine kingdom jade tablets ever since he had the ability to conquer a divine kingdom lord faction. However, in terms of het and quality, even the divine kingdom jade tablets of those high-level divine kingdom lord factions were clearly inferior to the divine kingdom jade tablet of a beginner-level divine kingdom lord faction. Obviously, as the first lord among the lords of all races to establish a divine kingdom lord faction, his divine kingdom jade tablet was clearly different from the other divine kingdom lord factions. This is indeed the work of the supreme will. However, Zhou Zhou had yet to discover what was different. He would probably have to slowly discover it in the future. Then, he began to check the treasures rewarded by the lords of all races. Needless to say, it was 1,000 mythical reputation rating and 1,000,000 reputation rating. Even though Zhou Zhou was not too surprised by these two rewards, the number of rewards was indeed shocking. Then, Zhou Zhou opened the mythical tier treasure chest. Inside the mythical tier treasure chest, there was a hexagonal crystal that emitted a 7-colored light. Zhou Zhou picked it up and looked at it. Treasure name: Demon God Talent Crystal Yin Illusionary. Yin Real. Treasure grade: Master God tier. Treasure effect: after absorbing it, the Lord will have the Demon God talent. Yin is illusory, and Yin is real. Treasure description: it came from the illusory god of chaos. It can turn itself, all living beings, buildings, and other things under its command into an illusionary and unattackable state with a thought. It can also turn illusionary life forms, buildings, and other things into a real attackable state with a thought. It's actually the innate talent of the illusory god. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up and showed. This was a top-notch talent that could ignore 5 supreme god realm attacks at the same time while he and his soldiers were unscathed. Even though the introduction said that it was a master god tier talent, its true effect was probably not inferior to ordinary supreme god realm treasures. An illusory body is not powerful. What's powerful is that it can become illusory along with itself and its subordinates. It can't be injured by external attacks. This effect alone is enough to be called a top strategic talent. I didn't expect the mythical tier treasure chest to reward this talent. Not bad, not bad. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied. Then, he didn't hesitate and placed the Demon God Talent Crystal on his Jilabella.in the next second. The talent crystal that emitted a 7-colored light fused into his glabue, allowing him to gradually fuse and master this Demon God talent. After he completely fused and grasped it, he nodded slightly. This way, he would have another trump card on the battlefield. Then, he opened another Novice Divine Kingdom treasure chest. There were 2 items quietly placed in the Novice Divine Kingdom treasure chest. The first item was a golden token. There was a law symbol written on it: exemption. Could it be? Zhou Zhou had a guess. Then, he picked it up and thought to himself that it was true. Treasure name: War Exemption Order. Treasure grade: Special tier. Treasure effect: the country owned by the user will be protected by the waiver after use. Other lord factions will not be able to invade the territory of the user's country. Duration: 30 days. Treasure description: this treasure is specially used to protect the new lord faction and prevent them from being invaded by the old lord faction. Note: when a country with a waiver takes the initiative to invade another country, the waiver effect will be ineffective. A waiver: after using it, I won't have to worry about my territory being attacked by other territories for no reason for 30 days. However, we can't take the initiative to invade other countries. What a good treasure. Unfortunately, it's useless to me. Zhou Zhou shook his head regretfully. His lord power was in a period of rapid development. At this stage, the ultimate goal was to invade the surrounding countries and expand his territory in the high continent and even the myriad worlds to increase the level of his territory to complete his ultimate goal to obtain the position of the Lord of all races. Therefore, how could he give up on attacking other countries at this time? Even though the effect of this waiver was good, he was destined to have no fate with it. However, even though it's useless to me, I might be able to give it or trade it to lord factions that have friendly diplomatic relations with me in the future for them to use. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Then, he put it into his first treasure vault. Zhou Zhou looked at the other treasure. The other treasure was a Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal. Originally, Zhou Zhou was not interested in the Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal. He no longer lacked the mythical tier Lord Talent after all. Even if this Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal could allow he to advance to a mythical tier 1 Lord Talent, it would not be of much help to him. But when he saw the specific effects of this Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal, he was immediately stunned. Treasure name: Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal. Treasure grade: Supreme. Treasure effect: it can unconditionally upgrade any quality of the Lord Talent to a higher quality. The highest level can be upgraded to the highest level Lord Talent. Treasure description: a supreme treasure personally created by the Supreme Will. If used on the mythical tier unique Lord Talent, it can create a rare Supreme Lord Talent. It's actually a Supreme Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal. It can help me create a Supreme Lord Talent. At that moment, Zhou Zhou's divine body even trembled slightly. He had waited too long for this gift. Originally, he had wanted to follow the prescribed order and gradually use his own method to obtain the Supreme God Realm Lord Talent by cultivating the Supreme Sacred Body. He did not expect the Supreme Will to see through his urgent needs and directly send this gift to him. Even though this Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal could only create a Supreme God Realm Lord Talent for Zhou Zhou. However, to Zhou Zhou, it was extremely rare and precious. Thank you, Lord Supreme Will. Zhou Zhou was overjoyed. Then he looked at this Supreme God Realm Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal and began to think about what Lord Talent he wanted to use to advance. Was it the 10 sacred blessings, or Master God Terrence's protection that increased his strength the fastest? Or was it the King of Loots who obtained the best and most loots? Or a nomological divine body that increased potential? Or was it the Undying King with the strongest life-saving ability? And it was the Scarlet Brood Mother that recruited the most soldiers the fastest. Zhou Zhou thought for a long time and fell into the trouble of choosing too many blissful things. However, he had a choice in his mind. I'd better advance to the King of Loots. I don't lack soldiers now. What I lack are Supreme God Realm treasures and Supreme God Realm inheritances. I have the ability to protect myself as long as these two things are around, until I can use the Supreme Sacred Body to create other Supreme God Realm Lord Talents. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. Choosing to advance the King of Loots to the Supreme God Realm Lord Talent might not be the choice that saw the most returns. However, it was definitely the most suitable choice for development. He could do it if he wanted to. Zhou Zhou held the Supreme God Realm Lord Talent Promotion Origin Crystal and chanted it in his heart. In the next second, a line of golden text appeared. Do you want to upgrade your Lord Talent? Yes, Zhou Zhou said without hesitation. More text prompts appeared. Please choose one of the following Lord Talents to level up, as you have many Lord Talents. 1. King of Loots, Mythical Tier, Unique. 2. Heart Thief, Mythical Tier, Unique. 3. Lord Shop, Mythical Tier, Unique. 4. Ultimate Algorithm, Mythical Tier, Unique. A total of 20 to 30 Mythical Tier Lord Talents were displayed in front of Zhou Zhou. Choose the King of Loots to advance, Zhou Zhou said without hesitation. Lord Talent has been chosen. Upgrading in progress. In the next second, he suddenly felt an extremely hot feeling between his eyebrows. This burning feeling was completely different from the feeling of he awakening and advancing to the Lord Talent in the past. It didn't just seem to be roasting his glabella, it was also roasting his soul and will. His soul and will seemed to be burning. Undergoing nirvana and rebirth, this feeling slowly disappeared after an unknown period of time. Zhou Zhou was already sweating profusely this moment. A golden text notification slowly appeared. Lord Talent upgrade successful. Congratulations, your mythical tier 1 Lord Talent, King of Loots, has been promoted to Supreme, Unique Lord Talent, Heavenly Fate Di Huang. After you leveled up, the effect of the Supreme Unique Lord Talent is Lord Talent, Heavenly Fate Di Huang, Supreme, Unique, Heavenly Fate Di Huang. You are the Emperor of Heaven and Earth's luck. Luck is with you. You will always encounter something lucky. Heavenly Fate Di Huang, 100% drop rate. You can see the drop rate of the enemy's spoils of war and have a 100% chance of obtaining all the loots when looting the corpse. Heavenly. Fate Di Huang. Big explosion. You have one big explosion every day. When you loot the corpse, you can obtain 10 times the number of spoils of war from the enemy. Heavenly Fate Di Huang. Perfect loots. When you looted the corpse, the quality of the loot you obtained +1. Heavenly Fate Di Huang. Heavenly Fate Protection. You are protected by fate. You can sense the location of the treasures and opportunities you need and directly know the method to obtain them. Heavenly Fate Di Huang. Heavenly Fate Di Huang. You are Heavenly Fate Di Huang. Any living being that is your enemy will be abandoned by Heavenly Fate and might even suffer bad luck. You can also take the initiative to extract the good luck of the enemy and leave only bad luck on the enemy. Note, this Lord talent can only affect existences and things below the Supreme God realm. Is this the effect of the Supreme Unique version of the King of Loots? Zhou Zhou stroked his chin. Heavenly Fate Di Huang. This Supreme Lord talent did not focus too much on the method to increase the drop rate. In fact, in terms of the drop rate, it only added a huge drop effect. This effect was actually not bad. They were even very outstanding. However, Zhou Zhou might have seen too many spoils of war, so he was not too sensitive to this number. Speaking of which, the Lord talent effect of this Heavenly Fate Di Huang seemed to mainly focus on mysterious luck. Not only could it give him good luck, but it could also cause the enemy of him to fall into bad luck. This was interesting. Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu were currently dealing with the original spirit race enemies on Cerulean Planet. They could let he use this method. Then, he clicked on the requirements for the elementary grade Divine Kingdom to upgrade to an intermediate grade Divine Kingdom. Divine Kingdom name, Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, God Lord, Blazing Sun, Divine Kingdom level, Beginner Divine Kingdom flag. All stars cover the sun, Divine Kingdom Army, Blazing Sun Army, True God Tier Advanced Grade. Monster Army, True God Tier Advanced Grade. Dragon God Army, True God Tier Advanced Grade. 10,000 Races Army, True God Tier Advanced Grade. Heavenly Map Army, True God Tier Advanced Grade. Homeland Defense Army, True God Tier Elementary Grade. Requirements for advancing to the intermediate grade Divine Kingdom. Territory level advances to the True God Tier Elementary Grade. Capital region level advances to High Tier Deity level. 1,000 True God Tier Elementary Grade Divine Crystals. Conquer 10 high-level Scarlet Empires under the Crimson Overlord, 0 out of 10. Conquer 5 high-level empires that are not under the Crimson Overlord, 0 out of 5. Conquer any beginner-level Divine Kingdom Lord faction and obtain its True God Tier Elementary Grade Divine Token, 0 to 1. 10 million independent regional territories, 100,000 racial heroes, 1,000 God Spirit worshippers of your own race. 1 racial divine artifact of your own race, 1/1. 10 worship true God spirits of your own race, strength. Of the Lord yourself reaches true God tier elementary grade, and complete a founding war once, 0 to 1. Everything else can be easily met, especially attacking a beginner divine kingdom and an intermediate grade divine kingdom. It's simply easy for me. I'm only not satisfied with my territory advancing to the intermediate grade true God tier grade. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Even though it would take he some time to gather the chaos divine treasures, this was already the best outcome that it was still early. Zhou Zhou turned around and returned to the Reincarnation Sacred Palace to continue cultivating .as for the series of matters regarding the initial establishment of the Divine Kingdom. Zhou managed and the others would worry about it at the same time. The Cerulean Planet. Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu were leading the army on the Eternal Mothership, hiding in the entire active universe, in the War Conference Room. Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu looked at the interstellar map in front of them helplessly, in the star map. An astonishing number of Alliance forces were chasing after them, as if they would not stop until they caught up to them. Isn't it just destroying the army of your 3 races and obtaining the myriad Tao Monument and Venus? Do you have to chase me so relentlessly? Zhou Fight shook his head. The original spirit race's vigilance immediately increased after they destroyed the 3 races yesterday. They realized that if they continued to split up, they would probably be defeated one by the Azure Emperor of the Mortal Empire. Therefore, they no longer divided their forces to search for traces of the Mortal Empire today. Moreover, they had all joined forces to search for the location of the Mortal Empire, as for the original spirit race. The Chaos Gods race, the Shepherd's God race, the Dragon race, the Elemental race, the Chi race, and the Leviathan race. They added up to an army of 100 capital units, more than 1 billion god spirits, more than 100,000 true god tiers, and 65 supremacies. It had to be known that up until now, Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu had only 15 capital unit soldiers, more than 38 million god spirits, more than 5,000 true god tiers, and 18 supremacies. Compared to the total military strength of the other party, there was a world of difference. Coupled with the fact that the other party definitely had other regal soul heaven divine bones on them, Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu could not use the 10,000 spirit saint to turn the situation around. Therefore, they did not choose to fight head-on with the pursuers behind them. Instead, they chose to kite the other party away while thinking of a solution. At this moment, the two of them suddenly froze. They looked at each other, surprise flashing in their eyes. A supreme unique Lord talent. I didn't expect my first supreme talent to be obtained in this way. Heavenly Fate Di Huang. This Lord talent feels quite interesting. Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu began to discuss this newly obtained supreme, unique Lord talent. Then, Zhou Fight sighed. My main body chose correctly. I must choose this Lord talent. If we obtain the divine inheritance of a supreme God realm spirit, and let a god worshipped by an advanced grade master god tier under us use it, we can let the other party become a supreme god realm. As long as we have a supreme god realm cultivator, be it the original spirit race, shepherd's god race, chaos god's race, none of them is our match. At that time, the position of the Lord of all races will definitely belong to us. There is no other possibility. Zhou Marshall nodded in agreement. The participants in the Lord of all races event organized by the Supreme were all races from all over the world. The strongest among them was only Master God tier advanced grade, such as an existence like the original Master God tier. Once a Supreme God Realm Lord appeared among the Lords of the myriad races who participated in the Lord of all races competition. The Supreme would definitely choose this only Lord of the myriad races who was protected by a Supreme God Realm expert. The Supreme held the Lord of all races contest because it wanted to select the most outstanding and strongest Lord to become the Lord of all races after all. At this moment, a Lord of all races actually nurtured a Supreme God realm through their own efforts. Could it be that this could not prove anything? Then, they suddenly thought of something and turned to look at the pursuers behind them. They stared at each other. Try? We have to try, the two of them said. Then, they flew out of the Eternal Mothership and stood on the hull of the Eternal Mothership. They looked at the army of the capital units behind them and raised their right hands. Those who are enemies with me are enemies with fate. Zhou Fight said in a deep voice. In the next second, an invisible fluctuation that only Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu could see emitted from their bodies covered the army of the 7 races at an astonishing speed. And then, nothing happened. That's it. Zhou Marshall was a little stunned. Zhou Fight frowned slightly and said, "Let's go back first. We'll talk later. This Lord Talent probably won't be able to see the effect immediately." Zhou Fight was helpless. Then, he nodded and returned to the space carrier with Zhou Zhan at the same time. On the original battleship of a Master God tier advanced grade in the center of the 7 races army, the original Master God, Origin, was with the other Master Gods, Xiefeng. When can we catch up to the Azure Emperor spaceship? Didn't you say that the speed at which you assisted the spaceship in flying is the strongest below the Master God tier? Origin asked. The Master God called Xiefeng was a living being from the Qi clan. This god used the Master God tier Wind Law to achieve the Master God position. He was best at speed. The reason why the battleships of the 7 Races Alliance could follow Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu's Eternal Mothership closely and not be shaken off by them was because of his help, Your Excellency. Xiefeng was also very helpless. I've really tried my best, but the speed of the Azure Emperor's spaceship is really ridiculously fast. Even though it's not as fast as the Supreme God Realm Spirit, I feel that it's not far off. Although it's not as fast as the Supreme God Realm spirit, I feel that it's not far off. Origin frowned slightly and stopped thinking about it. Forget it as long as he could not be left behind and could follow behind the other party. It was only a matter of time before he captured the other party, this moment. A loud roar came from behind them. The Master God Tier advanced grade spaceship they were on shook violently. What happened? Has the Azure Emperor finally decided to counterattack because he doesn't want to be chased anymore? Origin did not say anything. Xiefeng stood up excitedly and asked the intelligent life form of the spaceship, Lord Origin. The intelligent life form inside the Heavenly Fire Divine warship that was in charge of transporting firearms suddenly untied the ownership agreement and betrayed our original spirit race. Then, it took the initiative to detonate the thousands of small and medium-sized firearms fleets around it. Currently, it's estimated to have caused the loss of 100,000 Master God-tier divine crystals. The intelligent life immediately said, "What?" Origin said in disbelief, "Isn't the Heavenly Fire Divine warship managed by a pseudo-intelligent life form? How did it untie the ownership agreement and betray me? It should be a small probability event. The other party might have processed too much data and gradually grew into a true intelligent life form during learning. Only then could they take the initiative to untie the ownership agreement. Even if the other party grew into an intelligent life form, why did he betray me? Do they think that my original spirit race is not good enough?" Origin asked curiously. "Lord Origin, I can explain this. Just now, the Machina race issued the highest priority order. Mortals of the Machina race are not allowed to become enemies with the human race. When the human race is in danger, the Machina race has the responsibility to take the initiative to save them. The intelligent life form of the Sky Fire Divine warship must have received this highest priority order, so it chose to betray you after knowing what it was doing." Origin nodded slightly. Then its expression froze. "Then you, Lord Origin, I'm sorry. Even though you've always treated me very well, and I don't want to be your enemy, one don't want to go against Father's orders. So please leave my ship. Otherwise, 1 foot 11 inches have to activate the mutual destruction program. Even if you and everyone else are top-notch Master God tier experts, with my size you might still die if you're not careful." Origin and the Master God tier. Outside the original warship, Origin and a group of Master God tiers and their entourage stood outside the starry sky in a daze. They were like minions for the original spirit race's Master God tier advanced grade battleship and other top-notch battleships with intelligent life forms. They quickly flew towards the mortal empire's eternal mothership like swallows returning to their nest. "Have we been chased out by the intelligent life forms of the spaceship?" A Master God tier of the original spirit race, standing in the starry sky, said with a blank expression, "Is this still King reasonable?" Another Master God tier of the original spirit race flew into a rage. He said that he was a mechanic and had to listen to his father's opinion. But did he ever think that his true body was personally created by our original spirit race at the cost of our own resources? He is invading our original spirit race's assets. It's fine if he wants to leave. Leave the ship behind and leave naked. Then why don't you try to persuade him?" Another Master God tier of the Leviathans said. The furious Master God tier of the original spirit race immediately wilted. "Persuade? How do I persuade him? Fly in front of that Master God tier advanced grade cosmic battleship and be killed by it." When they built those top-notch Master God tier battleships, they were extremely demanding on the workmanship and effects. They required that even if the 10 Lord Gods joined forces to attack the original spirit race's Master God tier battleships, their battleships could not be damaged by more than 10%. Furthermore, they had to maintain normal flight and basic combat functions. Even though he was a Master God tier from the original spirit race, he could crush Master God tiers of other races of the same level. However, it was still not enough to touch the top-notch Master God tier battleship built by his race. "Those who are not of our race will definitely have different intentions." A Master God tier of the original spirit race whispered. This was the first time the original spirit race had encountered something like being abandoned on the battlefield by a cosmic battleship created by their race. This lesson left a deep impression on them. "That's right. Azure Emperor, don't run. It's over." The Azure Emperor must have taken this opportunity to escape. Wait, Azure Emperor didn't escape. Not only did he not escape, he even stopped his battleship. A master god tier suddenly pointed at the eternal mothership hundreds of light years away and said in surprise. Then, they thought of something and their expressions suddenly turned ugly. This fellow did not stop earlier or later, but stopped when they were chased down by their own spaceship. Wasn't he trying to make a fool of them? At this moment, something even more difficult for them to hold back happened that a portion of the cosmic battleships managed by the intelligent life forms were actually flying in the direction of Azure Emperor while activating the various long-range weapons on the battleships and launching long-range attacks at Origin and the soldiers under the various Master God tiers. They seemed to know that their attacks could not cause much damage to Origin and the others, so they simply attacked the weaker God spirits. And soldiers block their attacks. In addition, take out the cosmic battleships managed by the non-intelligent life forms in your world rings and bring back the God spirits and soldiers we left outside. Don't embarrass yourself outside. Origin said coldly. The Master God tiers did not dare to be negligent. They immediately displayed their mystical abilities and blocked the attacks of these Master God tier battleships. As for the attacks of those true God tier and even God spirit level battleships, the true God tiers and ordinary God spirits under their command would each share the defense at the same time. They also took out their cosmic battleships, managed by non-intelligent life forms to pick up the abandoned soldiers and God spirits. However, these cosmic battleships that had joined Zhou fight and Zhou Wu were designed to prepare for large-scale cross-border wars. Their attacks were mostly large-scale attacks that covered an extremely wide area. Therefore, even if these God spirits tried their best to save their soldiers, at least 3,000 to 4,000 trillion troops were destroyed by these spaceships in a short period of time. A minute. Origin's expression was extremely ugly. When he saw this scene, he never expected such an accident to happen when he was supposed to firmly take down the Azure Emperor at this moment. He frowned slightly and took out his communication device to open the latest message. Then, his expression immediately changed. The Lord of the Blazing Sun actually established a divine kingdom and became the ruler of the divine kingdom, he muttered before reacting. No wonder the Machina race suddenly chose to get close to the human race. The Lord of the Blazing Sun should have grasped the 10 sacred blessings Lord talent of the Machina Master God. Now that the Lord of the Blazing Sun has established a divine kingdom and become the Lord of the divine kingdom, the Machina Master God and the other lords will be restricted by the Lord talent. They will definitely join the divine kingdom and become its worshipped Master God. Now that they are already on the same side, it's no wonder that the Machina race chose to get close to the human race and even asked the Machina race in the outside world to help the human race unconditionally. He frowned. If only this had happened a little later, if it was any later, they might have already taken down the Azure Emperor and seized the myriad Tao monument and Venus in his hands. At that time, these intelligent life forms wouldn't be able to affect the overall situation even if they betrayed him. It could only be said that this matter happened at the wrong time at the same time. Inside the Eternal Mothership, Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu also looked at this scene in surprise. Hundreds and thousands of true God-tier cosmic battleships, with the highest being a Master God-tier advanced grade cosmic battleship, were flying towards them at full speed. As they flew towards them, they continued to attack the people of foreign races as if they were still proving their stand. What happened? Zhou Marshal was dumbfounded. Your Majesty, I know what happened. The intelligent life forms in the cosmic battleships that flew towards our eternal mothership have already contacted me. They have explained the cause and effect to me and said that they want to join our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Zero's voice sounded. Why did they suddenly betray the original spirit race and choose to join us? Zhou Fight asked doubtfully. They were now at a disadvantage and could only be chased by the other party. Under such circumstances, the other party actually chose to betray the powerful people of foreign races and join them. What were these guys thinking? Zero explained the reason. I see. Zhou Fight was enlightened and he laughed. From the looks of it, the addition of Terrence, Zero, Tridiz, and the other top-notch Master God tiers not only brought them 5 top-notch master god-tier combat power, but also brought them all sorts of benefits and invisible but real influence. Great. Their plan to catch up with him was destined to fail without the help of these top-notch space battleships. Not bad. Not bad. He had yet to see the effect of Di Huang's tenfold loots. However, the effect of bringing bad luck to the enemy was really not bad. It had helped them resolve a small crisis. Look, look. The people of Foreign Race Alliance Army is up to no good again. At this moment, Zhou Marshal pulled Zhou Fight excitedly and pointed at the people of foreign races in the distance. Zhou Fight was stunned and looked over curiously again. Could it be that the effect of Di Huang's misfortune was not over yet? A few minutes ago, on a planet very far away from here, hundreds of white-robed spirits were gathered here, setting up a mysterious altar that a Soul Race member reported to the leader of the Soul Race after the altar was set up, reporting to the Patriarch. The reincarnation altar has been set up and can be activated at any time. Have you checked? This reincarnation altar concerns the rise and fall of our race. We can't make any mistakes. The Patriarch of the Soul Race said with a solemn expression. Patriarch, don't worry. We've already practiced it countless times in the past years in order to prepare today's reincarnation ritual. We've already memorized it by heart. It's absolutely impossible for us to make a mistake. Moreover, we've also checked it 5 times. The reincarnation altar's arrangement is very perfect. Patriarch, you can use it without worry. The Soul Race member who had set up the altar said, Okay. The Patriarch of the Soul Race nodded. Then, he looked in the direction of the people of Foreign Races Alliance Army, and he finally couldn't help but reveal an excited expression. The ancestors of our soul race originally thought that our soul race would never be able to recover the glory of the soul race's peak in the future ever since our ancestors' divine bones was left behind in the myriad worlds. I didn't expect to encounter such a situation. The original spirit race actually specially gathered more than half of our ancestors' divine bones to guard against the Azure Emperor's methods. Ha! The heavens are really helping me. That Azure Emperor has also made a great contribution. The original spirit race wouldn't have specially gathered the divine bones of our soul race's strongest expert without him. I have to thank the ancestor after we resurrect him. The soul race patriarch smiled. Compared to resurrecting their ancestors, the activities of the Lord of the race and the position of the Lord of all races were no longer important. This was because their ancestor, the regal soul heaven, who was about to be resurrected, was a supreme God realm spirit infinitely close to a will-level existence. As long as they could successfully revive regal soul heaven, their status in the eyes of the supreme would not be much inferior to the Lord of all races. If regal soul heaven could advance to a will-level existence after experiencing this life and death calamity, before the Lord of all races' strength increased to the willpower level, he had to be polite to the soul race and regal soul heaven. Then, he retracted his imagination and solemnly said, Let's start preparing the sacrifices to awaken the will of our ancestors. Remember, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our soul race in hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. Whoever makes a mistake midway and fails to revive our ancestors will be a sinner of our soul race for eternity. One won't let him off. Yes, Patriarch, the soul race members said solemnly. Then, they began to prepare the sacrifices to revive regal soul heaven at the same time. Origin was in the new true god-tier elementary grade cosmic battleship, thinking about how to take down the Azure Emperor. Now, those high-level intelligent life forms had already fled with those top-notch cosmic battleships. The remaining cosmic battleships managed by non-intelligent life forms were mostly of extremely low grades. The highest grade was the true god-tier elementary grade cosmic battleship. It was impossible to catch up to such a cosmic battleship. He had to use a new method. I can't give up on the Myriad Tao Monument and Venus. They are what I can rely on to become a supreme god realm in the future. We have to get it, even if we have to pay the price for it. Origin's gaze was firm at this moment. He suddenly felt that something was about to rush out of his world ring. What is it? His expression changed slightly as he released the abnormal item that wanted to rush out almost without thinking. He had many treasures in his world ring. Even some of his race's heritage and items that were extremely dangerous to him were inside. If anything happened inside, he and the original spirit race would be unable to accept such losses. And the moment he released that abnormal thing, he immediately saw what he had released at it was Regal Soul Heaven's divine bone. The leaders of the various races who controlled Regal Soul Heaven's divine bones also realized that the divine bones they controlled seemed to have their own consciousness. They broke free from their control and flew towards the outside world. Some race leaders were unwilling to let Regal Soul Heaven's divine bone that they had spent a lot of money on fly away. They wanted to use some hard methods to force the other party to stay, but in the end, not only were they unable to stay, they were instead counterattacked by the terrifying will contained in Regal Soul Heaven's divine bone, causing them to be severely injured. This shocked these master gods. Previously, there was clearly no willpower inside Regal Soul Heaven's divine bone. Why did such a terrifying willpower suddenly appear? This power of will far exceeded the will-like light realm. It was definitely at a higher level. Moreover, even in the soul formation realm, this power of will was definitely not weak. A.S. main god-tier existences who had lived for countless years, they still had this bit of knowledge. Then, a terrifying and unbelievable thought appeared in their minds. Could that unfamiliar will in Regal Soul Heaven's divine bones be the legendary will of Regal Soul Heaven? The Regal Soul Heaven respected him. Unfortunately, they were right. The ribs of Regal Soul Heaven turned into streams of light and flew over from the people of Foreign Races Alliance Army, the Eternal Space Carrier, and the myriad worlds. They quickly gathered together, forming a huge golden life form skeleton. This golden life form skeleton was 900 million kilometers tall. He wore a black and white crown on his head. Yin-yang samsara chi circulated around him, making him look dignified and mysterious. After the aura of the golden life form skeleton completely stabilized, a sigh resounded throughout the entire active universe. I didn't expect. The backup plan I left behind back then actually became the key to reviving me. The Regal Soul Heaven, am not destined to die. Oh, where am I? Regal Soul Heaven's empty eyes swept across the battlefield and stopped on the original Master God, Tier, Origin for a second before finally landing on Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu. What a young Khanate Regal. The Regal Soul Heaven set in. Surprise, Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu were stunned for a moment before crying and laughing. All right, his identity had been exposed. His twin body lord talent was only effective against existences below the Master God tier level. But it was naturally completely useless against a true supreme God realm existence like Regal Soul Heaven, as for the original Master Gods, Origin, and the other Master Gods. They couldn't help but be stunned when they heard Regal Soul Heaven's voice. Then, they finally reacted and looked at Azure Emperor. You're not the Azure Emperor? You're the common people's Regal? If a life form advanced to a Regal, there would be a phenomenon of heaven and earth that could be seen in all myriad worlds. Zhou Zhou was the only Regal Lord among the lords of the myriad races. The identity of this Azure Emperor was self-evident. He was not the Azure Emperor at all, but the real common people's Regal. Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu stopped pretending to in any case. Their current strength was considered invincible below the supreme God realm, so they were not afraid that they would recognize their identities. This emperor has never said that he's not the common people's Regal. Zhou Fight said with a faint smile. *Manet. Origin's expression really turned ugly at this moment. If they had known that Azure Emperor was the common people's Regal, they would have long joined forces to deal with him. How could they give him a chance to develop in the active universe? Now that the other party was almost done developing, it was already a little late to make a move on the other party. When Regal Soul Heaven saw this scene, he muttered to himself thoughtfully, "Looks like I messed up this newly advanced Regal's matter." Then he laughed and said to Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu, "Then I'll make it up to you. I hope you don't mind, Regal." Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu were surprised that this supreme God realm expert was so polite to them. Then they saw Regal Soul Heaven point at the people of Foreign Race Alliance Army where Origin was. In the next second, it was as if someone had rubbed the starry sky with plasticine. 2/3 of the soldiers, God spirits, And even Master God tier of the people of foreign races had disappeared into thin AI. Our IT was as if it had been forcefully erased from the world by a supreme existence with a finger. After doing this, Regal Soul Heaven smiled at Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu. Regal, do you like my apology gift? Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu were stunned. Zhou Marshall thought to himself, is this the method of a supreme god realm? Zhou Fight thought to himself, is this the power of Di Huang? The entire starry sky fell silent after Regal Soul Heaven used that shocking finger, be it origin, Zhou Fight, or Zhou Zhou. All looked at the celestial battlefield in shock. Those were 2/3 of the soldiers, god spirits, and master god tier. Of the people of foreign races, a movement of a finger actually wiped out everyone. Is this the method of a supreme god realm expert? The supreme god realm was actually so powerful. No, Zhou Fight realized that something was wrong. He had used supreme god realm treasures before, so he still had some understanding of supreme god realm methods. Regal Soul Heaven shocking. Finger just now was indeed possible for a top supreme god realm expert, but it was definitely not as casual as Regal Soul Heaven's. Regal Soul Heaven's casual manner just now made it seem as though he hadn't used any shocking attack. Instead, he had casually raised his hand and destroyed his opponent. This Regal Soul Heaven was probably really as the legends said. He had already come into contact with the threshold of a will-level existence and grasped a trace of the legendary power of supreme will. Zhou Fight thought to himself. Then, he came back to his senses and respectfully said, "You're too kind, Your Excellency. We have to thank Your Excellency for your help. Otherwise, these guys would indeed cause us some trouble." "You're welcome. We're both connate regals. It's just a small favor. What's there to thank me for? And Regal, your methods are what surprises me. Your main body should only be at the true god tier intermediate grade, right?" Regal Soul Heaven's face revealed a look of surprise from the bottom of his heart. The strength of the true god tier intermediate grade could already reach the level of invincibility below the supreme god realm. When I was a true god tier, I was far inferior to you. Your connate regal law should be a rather powerful law. There were thousands of paths in the path of a lord's law. Every connate regal's comprehension of lord's law was different. They could often create a unique connate regal. Therefore, there was a saying among connate regals. Every connate regal was unparalleled in the world. This unparalleled in the world did not refer to combat strength, but to uniqueness, just like how Regal Soul Heaven walked the path of a connate regal of souls. He could control endless souls. All the countless souls in the myriad worlds worshipped him as their master. This world even specially gave birth to a race, the soul race, that belonged solely to him for Regal Soul Heaven. For example, Zhou Zhou had a legendary tier. Lord Talent, the lost heart of the sea god. There was a master god's inheritance. The regal inheritance of the Lord of the Seas, as long as he collected all the fragments of the sea god civilization's inheritance. This Lord Talent would automatically advance to the mythical tier, unique Lord Talent, Lord of the Seas. At the same time, Zhou Zhou would automatically inherit the Master God tier inheritance, Infinite Sea Regal God Spirit inheritance, and this Infinite Sea Regal was the connate regal who ruled the endless sea. This was the difference between regals, but at the same time, regals all had a common characteristic. The core of their path was to rule, as long as the core that governed this path of laws would not change, their future path would not deviate. Your Excellency is too humble, Zhou Fight said with a smile. The Regal Soul Heaven shook his head. He looked at Zhou Zhou as a divine light flashed in his pair of golden hollow bone holes. This aura was the aura of the supreme unique Lord Talent. In addition, the other parties will seem to be infinitely close to the will divine transformation realm. Good God! Regal Soul Heaven was secretly amazed. This connate Regal Jr. clearly had not cultivated for long and was only at the true God tier intermediate grade. But now, the other party's path to the supreme God realm in the future had actually been unimpeded. How much effort had he put into breaking through to the supreme God realm back then? Too many to count. There were just too many to count. Once he thought about it carefully, he would feel heartache for this connate regal in front of him. He already had the Supreme God Realm Lord talent. Coupled with the fact that his willpower level was about to reach the standard, the difficulty of the other party breaking through to the Supreme God Realm in the future was probably as simple as eating and drinking. The two most difficult points to break through to the Supreme God Realm. The Supreme God Lord talent and the Supreme God Realm willpower level had already been obtained by the other party in advance after all. The remaining conditions were just a matter of time, but as long as this person did not die in the future, he would definitely be a Supreme God Realm God Spirit. Moreover, from the fact that the other party was an intermediate true God tier and had invincible strength below the Supreme God Realm, once the other party broke through to the Supreme God Realm, he would probably be an invincible Supreme God Realm. At the thought of this, the regal soul heaven suddenly had the thought of befriending the other party. Since such a prodigy didn't offend the other party, who else could he be on good terms with if not him? If he missed it, he would regret. If for the rest of his life, his expression became even kinder with this thought in mind. Regal, do you need me to take care of them all? It's just a matter of convenience. He looked at the coalition army of the people of foreign races with an extremely dangerous gaze as he spoke. Origin and the other master gods, the divine spirits, and the soldiers noticed the other party's gaze, and their bodies immediately turned cold and stiff from fear. Origin and the other master god tiers, the divine spirits, and the soldiers noticed the other party's gaze, and their bodies immediately turned cold and stiff from fear. They didn't even dare to escape, trying to escape in front of a supreme god realm who had already grasped a trace of willpower. What kind of daydream was this? Origin had no doubt that even if he could immediately teleport back to the territory of the original spirit race, this regal soul heaven could still cross countless light years to kill him. Origin had no doubt that even if he could immediately teleport back to the territory of the original spirit race, this regal soul heaven could still cross countless light years to kill him. This regal soul heaven had such an ability. Your Excellency, the struggle between them and me is actually a little complicated. Just leave them to me. Zhou Fight hurriedly said. What a joke. Just based on your method of not even leaving a corpse behind. What other loots can I obtain? My heavenly fate Di Huang's explosive effect has yet to be used. Zhou Zhou believed that as long as he developed and accumulated for a period of time, the so-called top bloodline races like the original spirit race, the shepherd's god race, and the chaos god's race would be like chickens and dogs to him. He could easily deal with them at that time. In his eyes, the other party would just be a spoil of war that could be destroyed at any time. However, if this master made a move in advance, he would not be able to get anything for the sake of the long-term plan. He should keep them alive first, sure. Since Regal has such thoughts, I won't interfere. The regal soul heaven was stunned for a moment before smiling. He lamented inwardly that the other party was indeed an invincible regal. Even though his strength had yet to reach his current realm, he already had an invincible aura. Clearly, he could easily eliminate these powerful enemies for him, and he didn't suggest any thoughts of repaying him, but he still chose to resolve it himself and didn't let others interfere. Most importantly, he indeed had the strength and potential to do so. If this isn't an invincible spirit, then what is? It was a pity that he couldn't use this matter to build a better relationship with the other party. Zhou Fight looked at the other party's regretful expression and was afraid that Regal Soul Heaven would do something shocking again. He hurriedly told him about the Lord of all races. Regal Soul Heaven couldn't help but frown when he heard this.